So my my background, as you can see here, is very embedded in bioenergetics, and I wanted to take this opportunity. I've been thinking about this for a long time with my subscribers and my customers who were on with me tonight. No one else was invited to share a visual walkthrough of a bioenergetic scan. And truly, knowledge is power. Let's see if I can. And this is just a beginning of what we're going to cover tonight. And I'll be open to questions and feedback at the end. If you have very specific questions while we're going through, I'm happy to talk about them. Um, so to get started, let's take a bird's eye view of why we're here and some exciting information I'm about to share with you. We're going to cover some foundation concepts of a bioenergetic scan and a live visual walkthrough. And why are these topics so important? This is going to give you some key information and master tools to make the most effective changes in your well-being and your health. I'm hoping in this session to give you an opportunity to understand the dynamic workings of your energy system and how important your bioenergetic health really is. You'll learn more about the relationship between the energetic body and the physical body, which will give you the tools to make the most effective changes in your well-being and your health. Just a little bit about how I got here. This system was the beginning of my health shift years ago. I've walked a path of healing for a very long time, almost 42 years. And this system was the beginning of my health shift and continued recovery, having had fibromyalgia in my 20s before they even knew what fibromyalgia was. I continue to use it alongside PEMF, both handheld PEMF and the Holos wearable, to maintain my strength and resilience. And a little bit about why I'm so passionate. This is so deep in my soul. Seeing this scan for the first time years ago was literally a lightning bolt moment for me. I had been very sick, and I was blown away when I first saw the scan and the detailed mapping, which I'm going to show you tonight, of the human body field in my journey back to health. I knew I had profound information the minute I saw it on not only what was wrong, but an extremely sophisticated yet simple master tool to make real healing progress. I have helped hundreds of clients and customers, Holos customers, regain their health with PEMF, and some that have worked with me privately through private bioenergetic clinical scanning and therapy. So I speak to so many customers on the RedHealth live chat desk and support line, and two of their most important needs are understanding more about their Holos devices and how to optimize their use. And two, what else may they be able to do to get a clinical leg up on their health challenges? So I can help you have great new understandings of that tonight and share my experience with the system. Each practitioner works very differently, and I'm excited to share the walkthrough of the scan with you. I did a scan of myself this afternoon, and I'm going to walk that through with you. And I hope you take away tonight 3 key benefits. First, to see how the energy system operates as the master control of your physical health. Secondly, to really gain new understandings. Knowledge is power. And when you see this, it's going to give you a whole new level of insight, if you haven't already, that offer a shift in the paradigm of how we see and approach whole mind body wellness. And lastly, to feel more empowered to unlock powerful health support options for yourself, your loved ones, and your friends. And then at the end, we'll do a Q&A, 10 to 15 minutes. I'll ensure we have plenty of time, and I'll try to keep an eye on the chat box so that if for some reason I missed your question during the presentation, I will be sure to get to it at the end. So the very first element that I want to talk about is what is bioenergetics. The word is foreign to some people. First, let's define what it is and what the human body field is. In essence, bioenergetics is the study of how living organisms manage their energy budget, from acquiring it to using it for all their life processes. Frontier science is proving that there is a regulating field of energy that operates below the cell level, at the quantum level. Each structure in the body has fields of energy and information around it and inside of it. Our cells, our bones, our organs, our brain, everything that has structure has a regulating field of energy around it. It includes information for our DNA, our cells, our tissues, and organs to work correctly. The human body field is made up of pathways along which information flows to more than 50 trillion cells in the body. In a simple analogy, and this is the simplest one that I can come up with, you can think of the human body field as the software that runs the hardware, our physical body. The root causes of physical problems are actually distortions initially and blockages in the body field caused by stress, by toxins, electromagnetic influences, the strong EMF and E-smog that we're surrounded by many times. Emotional issues are huge, environmental influences, microorganism, and allergens. So what is so special about the human body field? Well, we can think of the human body field as our communication system. We all know what happens when the communication system in a car breaks down. There's just a million things that happen, and it wreaks havoc the longer it goes throughout the system. Our communication system or our energy system is the same. It's energy and information constantly communicating at the quantum level, below the cell level. When our body field's communication system breaks down, your body will respond with symptoms of illness. So the Ness Health, or newly renamed Energy for Life, clinical bioenergetic system is able to detect and visually display these quantum level communication system breakdowns in detail. So again, just a few foundation elements before we jump in and really take a look at something that's going to fascinate you if you haven't already seen the scan. So to heal always means, in any situation, to get to the root causes of your health problems, not the symptoms, but the root causes, which means to identify and correct the balance and alignment in your energy system, or tonight we're going to talk about it as our body field. This correction is at the subatomic level, which is where the control system is for the energy and information our body needs to work properly. So the study here reveals a new concept in immunity. According to bioenergetics, it's not about correcting symptoms, but instead identifying the root cause of problems. It's not about killing a bug in regards to our immune system. It's more about finding out why your body could not do its job properly. So the people in this study that got sick didn't get sick due to the natural strength of their immune system, which is regulated at the body field level, i.e. the software or information level of your system. When we correct the master control system for the body naturally begins to self-heal and self-regulate. Self-regulation is just as important as healing, being able to manage stress, being able to dynamically change. That's a sign of strength and resilience, as it was designed to. So there's a lot of research behind the body field. I want to talk about that for just a minute here. Dr. Peter Fraser dedicated most of his life to much of his life to the mapping of the human body field, involving thousands of correlations between the dynamics of the body field and very detailed physiological functions. An example of this is the communication in the eye. This is just one of thousands of examples. The liver meridian only communicates with the retina and iris. This kind of detail is what blew me away when I saw the scan and it cannot be found anywhere else. Another discovery of his was that the body field has a highly structured order that must be both read and corrected in a very specific sequence in order to achieve long-term results. So the NES, renamed Energy for Life system, incorporates the important sequencing information into its scanning software. So you can't just go in and target something. You actually have to look at the body field, and it's mapped out specifically in a certain sequence, and see what needs to be fixed first, corrected, second, third, etc. And when you correct some of the top level elements, which we'll see, they cascade all the way through the system. So you don't have to address everything when you're working at the high level, A, of the body field, but B, when you're in the body field, the highest levels of the field make the most macro corrections. So this is really a new paradigm in healthcare, still relatively new. The body field itself, people are really talking about frequencies. They're talking about, all kinds of energy medicine words, but it's actually the entire body field that is what needs to be looked at when we're looking at correcting a health issue. So because of the sequencing and because of the detail, there are many things that don't correlate to what's going on with somebody that you might try to address, and yet the scan will show you exactly what the top priorities are. So the research, or the paradigm rather, is all about, in energy medicine, correcting the body field. The two systems that NES offers, both ProVision, which is the classic NES system, and its newer BWS, Bioenergetic Wellness System software generation, offers the culmination of 30 years of research into how physics explains biology. So of course, we have the biology and the physiology, but at the quantum level, we have physics, quantum physics. Many legs of science are integrated into the system you're getting ready to see. Research drawing from the fields of physics, quantum biology, mathematics, acupuncture, and both Western and Chinese medicine. So the resulting clinical system is designed to help restore well-being through the correction of the human body field. And the corrections are made to the structured network of energy and information fields that serve as the master control system for the physical body. The scan is actually able to read a person's body field and identify any distortions or blocks in its information and energy, balance and alignment. And it's in a relatively short period of time, 10 to 20 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds, it's able to identify problems and solutions. According to the energy medicine theory, these blocks in the energy field are at the root of any physical problem. So a couple more foundational elements. Let's talk a little bit about what's in the scan. We have a lot of main categories. We're going to see a lot of detail in just a minute. And the system displays not only these categories, major organ systems, environmental influences, such as heavy metals and EMF, detailed nutrition status, the emotional states of stress, emotional tape loops, including shock and trauma. They may have become imprinted into the body field, which is quite common in any kind of chronic health challenge. Shock and trauma is huge. The immune system status is shown to include viruses and bacteria, and shows our weakest links, which are displayed in actual priority order. So we have metabolic elements for 15 different metabolic systems, which are very complex energy and information systems, and they need deeper correction sometimes. As well as local energy blockages, we'll see that are mapped out and which can cause actual physical symptoms, especially along meridian lines. So the scan results reveal problems in the body field with energy and information regulation. It's not concerned with symptoms. So, and when the body field or software of the body is corrected, it helps to reboot the body's own healing capacities and may mitigate many health issues. So lastly, foundationally, let's take a look at how does the scan actually work, and then we'll dive in. Um, let's see if we have any questions yet in the chat. Anybody have any questions here? Don't see anything yet. Okay. So when a scan is run, which is just a matter of putting your hand on a remote scanner, it will actually scan your body field by looking at many subfields that are in constant interaction in your energy system. These are elements of energy and information that are very dynamic and are constantly interacting. The scan actually produces a healthy field template, and the interaction with the client's field allows it to be analyzed and interpreted. So when it begins to be interpreted, the NES Energy for Life scan contains a map or a template of the structure of a healthy human body field. And based on the interaction between the scan that's generated and the body field of the client, the scan notes all the deviations in the client's body field from the template. Then it starts to identify the distortions, which we're referring to as deviations. The quantum QED, quantum electrodynamic field, which is what we are 99% made of, are found, the deviations are found, and it means that the energy and information that the body needs to function has become distorted, misdirected, or blocked in the body field communication. In identifying these field distortions, the relative severity of each distortion and the body's preferred sequence of healing are identified. This means that the most important deviations are addressed first. So the deviations indicate where the field, the quantum electrodynamic field that the body needs to function properly has become, it can lose its shape, it can be blocked from communicating with other fields. There's many elements, but it's basically distorted, misdirected, or blocked. So, and then most importantly, the analysis is so brilliant that recommendations are immediately assessed for making the highest level human body field corrections. And these corrections are made with this system with liquid remedies that are imprinted with the correct information that the body needs to restore itself in that area to well-being. So it actually brings the quantum electrodynamic field back into homeostasis or balance. And the MyHealth professional handheld, which is an option, it's optional, is also involved in correction as it helps clear localized scan energy blockages and address symptoms, as many of you are familiar with, that you do with the Holos device. So let's jump in. I'm going to stop the share for just a minute, and I'm going to share the actual scan. That I did today. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is my scan from this afternoon. And this is the very first screen that comes up. So this is called the energy screen. And it basically just maps out local energy blockage where my body field has local energy blockages. These are along meridians. When I click one on, for example, I'll click this one on. This screen shows colors. It shows squares where the blockages exist, and each one has a different color. And let me just explain the colors. So white, a red doesn't mean something's really wrong. A red means that that's my highest priority today to address. So red is very high priority, orange is high priority. Yellow is medium priority. We've got the green, which is low, and white means it's not a priority today. That doesn't mean there's not a problem in that area. People will ask me, well, I'm having a problem in my, severe digestive problem. Why don't I have any reds in my digestive area? Because as you can see, the meridians flow throughout the body, and the block actually might be somewhere else locally. So if I look at just the reds here and I click one on, I can see the meridian here. This is called EI10. We'll get into what EI means in just a minute. But this means that I've got a block in the larynx on my heart protector meridian. When I look at, and I usually just look at reds unless somebody doesn't have very many, and then we go into the oranges, but this is quite interesting. I've got a block on my shoulders, and I have torn rotator cuffs from an injury in both my shoulders, much more severe in the left than in the right, but I've been through PT, I've been through an incredible healing journey in the last year with that, and it's still showing on my scan. So I thought it was interesting today. This is the large intestine meridian. So I could be having, pretty significant digestive issues, but this is an actual block up in my shoulders. So I don't focus too much on these with clients because we can easily correct these. When you start working on the whole field and correcting the elements that I'm going to show you in just a minute, many of these are cascade benefits or cascade effects where they start clearing on their own. But there's also a little machine called the MyHealth. It's a PEMF device, just like the Holos, but it's a clinical device, professional clinical device, not a personal well-being device. And you can actually use the programs. You'll see I think there's 68 of them that you can run. They're called ERs. That stands for Energetic Rejuvenator. And when you run the program over these little areas, the energy begins to clear. So I've got the bladder meridian. I've got a block right at my thoracic spine. Well, I might be having symptoms down here in my ankle or calf. As you can see, the bladder meridian is huge. And so is the gallbladder. And then it comes all the way over into the eyes and over the head. So I could have symptoms anywhere here, but most likely I'm going to have symptoms in my thoracic area as well as up around my atlas or my top vertebrae, in my cervical spine. So these are local energy blockages, and they could be a result of shock or trauma. Some of these actually have shock and trauma associated with them. This one is the gallbladder. I have a red on my gallbladder, which means I have a very strong, high priority. Now, if you had a red and I had a red, does that mean that something's seriously wrong with both of us? No. That means that this, in the sequence of healing, is one of my highest priorities. Now, it could be much more distorted than yours or much less distorted, but it means that for me, I know exactly where I need to address the corrections to the body field or the software of the body. And so we have one in the knees here. It's interesting. I was hiking my dogs this morning, and I had for the first time in, never had knee problems. I had knee pain in my right knee, and I thought it was very interesting that my knees came up. But knees are kidneys. So this is the kidney meridian. And basically, it's just telling me that I've got an energy block at the knees on the kidney meridian. And so that program is going to help rejuvenate and clear energy blockages within the knee and the kidney meridian. So this is the first screen that comes up, and it's usually very relatable because whenever I click these points on, people can see the meridians and they can say, oh, gosh, that makes so much sense. I've got pain in my shoulder, or I've got, problems here. EI2 is the large intestine. So, you could have constipation, you could have, loose stools, but this is definitely going to help rejuvenate the colon and the large intestine and the stomach meridian. So this is large intestine, this is stomach meridian. And so the meridians, again, are quite large. As you can see, they pan much of the body, but that means there's a block in the information flow right at the large intestine that I need to clear in order to bring my wellness and well-being up. And sometimes these blockages are just the beginning of something that you don't have symptoms yet. But eventually, when something is not addressed, it begins to manifest as a physical symptom, and then potentially a disease or an illness. But when you catch it at the software level and you get it corrected, and I'm calling it software because that's the easiest way to identify it, it's much more effective and non-invasive. And here we have the small intestine meridian. Now I don't have a block on the shoulders or the arms on the meridian, but I do have a block up here in the skull. So this is information and energy that is not making it into my skull from my small intestine meridian. So let's go to the next screen here. And I want to just talk a little bit about the mapping at this point of 5 very significant categories of energy, and they are exactly in a specific sequence in the body field. So the first one that we're going to see here is, I'm not sure if you can, hopefully you can see this, it's called BFA. It stands for Big Field Aligner. And when we see this first screen for a client pop up, and the holo scan is similar in its nature, but it's a completely different technology because we're looking at a software system versus a PEMF device. So the mechanics, and Holos automatically schedules programs for you and puts your personalized programs in. So everything is contained in its nature in a bioenergetic scan, but each system is very different. So I know that's going to probably come up in your mind, and I'm happy to answer any questions. So in this particular screen, this is the most important screen in the scan. So our heart, this big field aligner here, is our heart's alignment with the Earth's magnetic, equatorial, and vertical axes. And so when we look at big field, you can see here today that my big field says that my magnetic polar axis, which is my immune system, at the highest level is needing some support. This is a medium level. It's yellow. So red is very high, orange is high, yellow is medium. But we're so high in the field that this is significant. Because it's yellow, it is a master aligner. Everything in the entire body field lines up to BFA in a scan. So my grounding appears to be a non-priority today. I look like I have pretty good balance and alignment in my equatorial axis, which is associated with the metabolic system, oxidation and antioxidation, as well as the liver and the large intestine. And the vertical axis is white in priority. And so it is not a concern today either, but it actually has to do with functional problems of the nervous system and sleep. So when people are really having a hard time sleeping, they're always usually going to show vertical axis at the highest level. When they have immune system, I definitely have circulation issues and I get hot and cold. And this specifically, when you click it on, shows you that it is the process of creating and distributing heat in the body, and it can manifest as hot and cold regions, which is quite common for people. But behind the scenes, because of my training, I know that this magnetic polar is also very much immune related. So I'm thinking to myself, got a little bit of immune distortion going on. So keeping that in mind, we're going to go to the very next screen. And we're moving down the body field now. So we see, actually, let me jump back for just a second. We see polarity. It's not a priority today, but it's the second most important element in the body field. And this has to do with whether or not your field, which is electromagnetic in its nature, is positively or negatively charged. You want to be negatively charged to be healthy. And when you move into a positive or very positive charge, your body can't communicate. It has to be the right charge. So you can go in and try to work on the kidney or the liver or the knees or whatever you want to work on. But if your polarity is not corrected, it's going to be very difficult for your body to make the communication that it needs to heal. Let me look at the chat one more time here and see if we've got any questions yet. Okay. So the next two most important elements are your circadian rhythms. And you know that Holos runs circadian rhythm programs 24/7. These are so important. They're the foundation of your health. This has to do with your body making energy from photosynthesis, from water. It's extremely important that you're hydrated. It's like a dry battery if you're not, and the communication can't happen. It's like a battery that doesn't have enough water in it. It can't charge and it can't do its job. Here is night. This is the body energy production during sleep, and it creates energy from fat and turns it into infrared light at night. So my body today is showing that I'm not having an issue with polarity. It's a non-priority. I'm not having an issue with energy during the day, but I'm having a medium level issue with energy production at night from my fat cells that basically it takes fat and turns it into energy. And there's a lot of information here on each level. I'm doing an introduction today. But it's very interesting because it matches to the vagus nerve, which everybody is, all about trying to stimulate the vagus nerve. When you correct your circadian rhythms, part of that, the night part of it, is related to the parasympathetic system and the vagus nerve. It also has a lot to do with the kidney meridian, the pineal gland, melatonin production, DHA, and the levels of DHEA in regards to sleep. So when there's a high reading for this, it's extremely important to correct it because it's one of the top 4 elements of the Bodyfield. And it's linked to metabolic syndrome, obesity, diabetes type 2, and high blood pressure. So when we correct this element, it goes through the system and corrects so many different things. So each element has many complex links in your body field. So the next, I want to call it layer. It's not linear, but the next set of elements in your body field that are so important is your organ systems. So your organ systems in energy medicine are your batteries. You can think of these as 16 battery packs. And if you see on a driver screen like this, low energy, which is a yellow in some cases, an orange, which is high, or a red, which is very high, you know that that organ system does not have enough energy to function. And we've got to get it charged, not only so that it can function properly, but the organ system is one of the most important elements for your immune system. Each of these organs, and today I have a medium priority on my cells and a medium priority on my frontline born immunity. This is acquired immunity. This is born immunity. Do I need to correct these because they're yellow? Well, we need to look at the whole scan. But because cells are the building block of everything in the system, I could, even though it's yellow, use cell driver to correct the cells. And when I do that, I'm basically looking at correcting energy in the entire body. So when somebody is very tired, very low energy, they can have pretty significant distortions here in their circadian rhythms. They can also have multiple organs, especially the kidney, which is so important for energy, and it links to brain fog and brain energy as well. But there's so many organs that are involved in not only the energy of the body, but also the immunity. So when I look at cell driver, this is it's very complex. But basically it just helps normal cell functions. It also helps your cells to detox, which is one of the most significant elements of healing. Getting rid of things that are in the way of your body's natural self-healing and self-regulation. So it actually addresses the excretion of different chemicals here that it talks about, and electromagnetic radiation. It talks about the immune functions here, talks about it being involved with the mast cells, and which is of course involved in blood clotting, antibody production associated with allergic reactions. So someone could have bad allergies and their cell driver could come up. Doesn't seem to make any sense, but every single cell is definitely involved in antibody production for allergies. It also is very tied to travel. So if you travel, there's a lot of energetic stress put on your body. If you're flying or you're driving fast or you're on a train, your cells get a little wiped out energetically, and it has to do with addressing geopathic stress. So there's a lot of details in this. I don't go into everything, but you can see that inside the cell, it goes into each little segment of the cell, each element, and it talks about the correction. And the mitochondria, which everybody knows about, helps the production of ATP in each cell. My other organ today, so when I see this and I see that somebody doesn't have any priorities, I think to myself, okay, looks like their battery packs are charged pretty well. And it looks like their the front line of their immune system is probably pretty strong. My immune system is showing today though, and this is the immune system I was born with. And I have to be on this. This is a very specific infoceutical to help rebuild white blood cells. And you have to be on it for 30 days and your white blood cells will begin to completely rebuild. So these are the drivers. These are your organs. They are your battery packs. They are your immune system. We have the next category down. So whenever a bioenergetic scan is run in the NEST system or in the Energy for Life system, and similar in nature in the holos, but different because it's, again, a different technology completely. But the general elements of the field are scanned. We're seeing here a lot more priority. So when I look at this, move this little flag over here, I see my small intestine, my bladder, my kidney, and my liver meridian. What does this mean? These are not my battery packs. These are the next layer down. This is information flow throughout the entire body. When I click on my most important element of my scan today, and I click on show meridian, I can see where the small intestine runs. So I could be having symptoms along the back of either arm. This is bilateral, internally, all the way through the shoulder and spine and up above the pelvis. And then in the front of the body, around the ear, and down the neck and into the shoulder, which I do. I actually have symptoms there. So what's really cool about the meridians is they're also very tied to emotion. So each meridian, when it's corrected, actually brings out a very positive element of emotional well-being. But for example, today, when I look at just the small intestine, I've got large intestine, lung, small intestine, heart. These are in sequential order. So what's the most important meridian? Large intestine. It goes in exact order. The next is my lungs. The next is my small intestine. The next is my heart, my bladder, my kidney, my gallbladder, my liver, my triple worm or thyroid, my heart protector, my stomach, and my spleen. And so today I really need to focus on these because I've got high and very high priorities. And this is small intestines, calcium metabolism in bones, all the vertebrae in the back, and the mucous membranes throughout the body, which are throughout our entire body. So the correction on this is quite significant. And I can then see sub readings. Do you see these little 2s and 1s and 3s? I've got 2 pretty significant. These are subfields, fields within the small intestine meridian. It's called an integrator because it's more than the meridian. It reaches out to all these different elements. This is the beautiful mapping that was discovered by Dr. Peter Fraser. And this is concerning. I saw this today. So when I see a 4 here in my small intestine on what's called the ileum tunica serosa, it means I have a pretty significant immune issue going on. So it was interesting to see that. It definitely needs to be addressed. And my villi in my small intestine, or the little, villi that move your through your intestine. But I can dive in even deeper. I can go into my parathyroid. So I have some issues with parathyroid, which is about calcium metabolism. And when I get out of the thyroid, I actually can go to the back body and I can see the bones, the atlas. I have a 4 out of 4. It's a 0 to 4 priority. This is significant distortion. This is my top vertebrae. This infaceutical or liquid remedy corrects these. It puts energy and information into the body, and by way of magnetic vectors, which is probably a little bit too much information, it pulls the fields into the correct alignment and the correct balance so that they can communicate with each other, and so that within themselves they are corrected. So I've got some issues there. And then it goes so deep, it goes so far down, but I want to show you the emotion. So the person might be struggling with concentration, mental power, or forcefulness. So if they are, when they take that infaceutical, they will feel much more able to concentrate, have much more mental power, and be able to manifest, their desires stronger with more forcefulness. So this is just more of the integrators, which are basically aligned with the 12 main Chinese meridians. I see I have bladder, kidney, and liver. So these are all, each one has very specific keynotes. So this one is microbial disease, vision, eye conditions, and hormonal components. So this is really about, at the bird's eye level, getting energy and information to the right place at the right time. That's what these pathways do. So we saw the organs. These were our battery packs and our immune system. The integrators are our energy flow pathways. And it just shows in sequence what needs to be addressed in order. The next category down is very deep. They're called ETs, or energetic terrains, and these provide healing messages for the body to self-repair, and also forms an important part of the body's energetic immune system. Now I have a medium, the top is always the most important. It goes in sequential order of the body heals this first, second, third. So I have a medium level distortion in my central nervous system. This includes my midbrain, my auditory nerve. I could be having hearing issues, thalamus. These are all part of the brain. Then we go into the medulla oblongata. It's an information center in the brain where everything communicates and goes back out again. And then, so you can see how detailed all the different areas in the body here, this particular central nervous system, ET0, corrects. This is the infaceutical that's given when people have vaccines or children have vaccines. It helps correct vaccine damage because it is correcting everything connected to the central nervous system in regards to your immunity. So these are all different kinds of bacteria, viruses, microbes that might affect these different compartments. And when they're healthy, we're resistant and we don't get sick. So that first example is that when we don't look at what the symptom is, do you have a really bad cold? Do you have the flu? We look at where the breakdown is in the energy system and where it needs to be corrected so the body can do its work. The body can heal. The body can get over the flu or the cold or whatever it is. In this case, the stomach is having issues. Here we have the liver. Here we have the nervous system, which is quite common, where something has gotten into the nervous system and affected the immunity. And then our last compartment here is the energetic stars. So these are huge metabolic systems. It's the very last thing. So we had the BFA, where we had our alignment to the earth, our charge, our day and night circadian rhythms. Then we had our battery packs at the next level down and our immune system. Then we had our information pathways. Then we had our immune system. And the last thing that's very complex are these systems that you can see outside the body. This is the metabolic system. And today it's saying that I have quite significant distortions. Again, this doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that they're my highest priority. My red could be very different than your red in terms of how distorted it is. But my nervous system needs correction. And this is very important because the nervous system is the foundation of everything alongside of your endocrine system. When you've got a healthy, strong nervous system, which I obviously don't right now, and a healthy, strong endocrine system, which would show up as the female field here, you are gold because your nervous system is basically the base of all communication. My imprinter is down here. This just means that my heart, when it beats bioenergetically, every time the heart beats, it imprints information from the nervous system onto the blood, and the blood carries the information out throughout the body. My imprinter metabolic function is down, so very deep. It needs very deep correction. And then we have our nervous system. And then emotional chill means that I'm processing tape loops of emotions that are draining my energy. This can be at night. This could be during the day. So these are metabolic systems. We have autoimmune here. This is a big one for people that have, autoimmune issues. So these are in the order of survival. This is the most important for survival, this metabolic system, the next one. So I have two in the top three of my survival really needs to be addressed. The last thing is my mind screen. It's showing I'm very stressed. And I don't know if I was, really kind of cranking, getting ready for this webinar, but I'm definitely informed that I am really dealing with emotional stress and that I need to release it. It's a very high priority. How bad is it? I don't know. I can't tell you. But it means that because it's red, I need to address it. And then chill is emotional tape loops, which also needs to be addressed. I don't have any other oranges here. One of the most fascinating parts, and I usually don't cover this in an intro, but this is where shock and trauma lives. It's in the mind screen. And then if we have different shock and trauma, it will show, I'll show you my first one. So this one here maps out where shock and trauma is sitting in the body. I've got it in the knee and I've got it in my brain and my skull. I do have shock and trauma, and my shoulders are showing that I'm burdened and that I'm feeling devalued in my thoracic spine and in my sacrum. So it's very informative because sometimes you're not aware of things. And when you actually liberate this shock with the CM hologram infoceutical, it's a holographic liquid remedy. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. It can release the shock and trauma that's draining your body field and also causing, when you get low voltage and your body field gets drained, that's when illness sets in. The very last two are the nutrition screen here. This shows my inability or ability to actually assimilate and metabolize these nutrients. It doesn't mean I'm not getting enough. It doesn't mean that I'm getting too much. It means that this is informative information as to that my body is not metabolizing manganese correctly, vitamin E correctly. And it goes on to talk about solutions for that. Usually when you take the infuceuticals, they cascade through this screen and you start seeing all the nutritional assimilation change naturally. It is showing that I'm not absorbing my food well because of stress, and also that which we already saw, my small intestine meridian here, and I go over this, whatever the reds are, the highest priorities are, always go over in detail. So I need to really work on absorption today. And the very last screen is the environment screen. And this just shows different solvents, metals, insecticides, and other types of environmental toxins that are a very high priority to address, which the scan naturally takes all this information. And the last thing I'm going to show you is that it actually goes into this incredibly brilliant screen where it culminates and analyzes all the fields that it looked at. It measures them and analyzes them and comes up based on a percentage of distortion. It comes up with a screen of your top 4 priorities in your whole scan. So for me today, it was small intestine, bladder, kidney, and liver. And it isn't my organs, it's my EIs. So ED is energetic driver, the organs. This is my information pathway. So my body is struggling to get information to the right place at the right time. And by taking these 4 infoceuticals, I can also narrow it down to 3, because based on percentage, it will tell me that my small intestine, bladder, and kidney are really important. Now, if I want to go deep, which I don't normally do with a new client, we can look at what the body is at the entire scan, whether it's high level or deep, what it needs. And today it's saying I need small intestine, correction in my immune system for cold, flu, and immunity protection, and nervous system, metabolic, full metabolism of my nervous system needs correction. So I can go with just 3 corrections, and those would be powerful and cascade throughout my system. We're not going to talk about this as part of the recommendations. I'm not going to get into the Nest My Health today or the Energy for Life My Health. I'm going to talk about that later, but I can go to 6. I can look at 6, and the scan will just keep giving me as a practitioner information that I can use to help the client make the most highest corrections, and that will significantly affect them the strongest in terms of their healing journey. So I'm going to stop the share here for just a minute. And I'm going to go back to the slideshow here. And let's talk about for just a minute what this means and why I'm doing this. I'm doing it for 2 reasons I talked about before. I am doing it to really help you understand that when you get any kind of bioenergetic scan, this is the level of, it's basically energetic anatomy and physiology. Everything that's in your body that's part of your anatomy and physiology is measured energetically. And so when you get to the energy first and you correct the software, you actually have amazing results before things get and build up worse and worse over months and years. And I am putting on my practitioner hat again. I have so many people I talk to on the Holo support desk, and just within the network of people that connect with me that need a leg up. And I wanted to share my information today, my experience and my passion for this bioenergetic clinical system. And I'm opening up 1 day a week, and I'm offering to people bioenergetic scanning and using my passion and experience to help people get a clinical leg up on their wellness challenges. And this was just an intro today. It was just a bird's eye view of the scan. I don't want to overwhelm you. I can go into much more detail. And I can actually go through another couple scans depending on what the feedback is from tonight. But basically, when you scan, if you're interested in what you saw, it basically just involves a $50 remote scanner and a scan once a month, and I go over it all with you, just like I just did from your home. So I want you to have this powerful clinical leg up as an option for you, your loved ones, or your family. I'm going to be doing mostly on Wednesdays, 4 scans a week, 4 clients a week. It's going to be flexible. It's going to move around a little bit, but I'm getting started back helping people. I've always worked with a few people on the side, but I want to officially open up this option for my customers and my subscribers. And I have a special. Usually it's $250 or so, excuse me, for a lot of practitioners. I'm opening up a 3-month scan sign up for $150 for a scan. Includes a whole 45-minute full review and your reports and your progress reports each time as to what's changed. And then you would get 3 to 6 corrective infoceutical remedies that you would buy. Those are typically $30 each. So I wanted to introduce you to the beauty and the brilliance of the God-given Bodyfield. And it takes a lot more time to really soak it all in, but maybe you can watch the webinar. And for everybody who's not on tonight, I had like a little bit over 100 people sign up. I'm so excited for you to see this, and I'm really excited to open up a one-day private practice a week to help anyone who is looking for additional help, insights, and very high-level corrections for your health. And I'm going to open it up for questions now. Let's see what time. I'm almost at time, but I'm going to keep this open as long as I have questions. Anything that comes to your mind. Does anybody have any questions? I can, if you give me a chat, I can also unmute you so that you can talk. Or you can just type your questions if you have any right now into the chat box. Tell me if you enjoyed it, if you have questions on what I've covered. It's just basically an intro of the Bodyfield. Yes, it is a lot to absorb. The training that I do for practitioners is quite in depth. It's a lot to absorb, but if you think about it, that the software basically does it all. And once you scan, it tells you exactly in order what your top 6 priorities are. And you can even get it down to 3. And they will make widespread, significant correction in your energy system. Yes, so the question is, for the scans, can we get a report that shows all the screens you showed today? So yes, you actually as a client can log into your client portal. Basically, you get a login when you sign up as my client. You log into the system and you can click on any scan and you can go through each screen. I go through them with you remotely. I give you a link and we connect just like we're doing now. And I go through them in detail. And we talk about how it relates to what's going on with you. And then we come up with a protocol, a simple protocol. But you can then, in follow-up, really dive in and look at each screen in your client portal. Yes, Nancy, thanks for that question. I also give you a report of your top priorities that tells you what each infoceutical or each priority actually is responsible for in your body. And you get a progress report each time showing you all the changes that you've made. It's a summary report, as well as a schedule of infoceuticals and exactly what to do. And then I do a 15-minute phone check-in. Your biggest shifts start happening between day 7 and 10 of taking the liquid infoceuticals. And that's when I like to talk to people. I adjust the dosage down. I adjust it up if you're not feeling shifts. And we work together to adjust dosages then. And then you take the pharmaceuticals anywhere from, if you're on really high doses, because you want to get really aggressive, you'll finish them sooner, but generally they'll last anywhere between 21 and 30 days. Great question. Does the 150 cover 3 months, or is that per month? So the 150 is per month. That is a scan. I set you up and I do your intake. I do your scan. I don't charge for the extra intake. I do a scan review for 45 minutes. Then I create all your reports. There's 2 main reports that are very easy to read. And I create a recommendation schedule of exactly what your protocol looks like. And then 7 to 10 days later, I spend 15 minutes on the phone with you, going through your progress, how you're feeling, and adjust your dosages accordingly. So it's per month. Sometimes it can spread out more than a month. And you kind of learn to understand that as you become a client. And you can do 1 month. You can do 3 months. I have a special 3-month sign up. Generally, I ask people to commit to 6 months because for anybody that's dealing with chronic health issues, it can take 6 months to get down deep into the actual root issues that are creating the health challenges. Some people start feeling better right away, but it can take, I don't want to, mislead anyone. It can take some time for the body to do very powerful healing in all the elements that you just saw, and start the cascade effect of that start to work throughout the entire body and mind. So emotionally, people feel the changes first, and then physically, once the software is corrected, the body field is corrected, the physical, your body starts making all the physical changes. Any other questions? Yes, if you have a scanner already, you can use that. Correct. Um, a remote scanner, I mean, I don't think it matters how long you've had it, but a Nest remote scanner or an Energy for Life remote scanner will do. They're $50 plus shipping. And, they're good for forever. So yes, good question there. Some people have already seen the scan. It is a lot to absorb, but the mapping of the human body field the scan never lies. It always is exactly spot on. And the system is amazing at actually showing you what you need to focus on for your health. Any other questions? Let's see. Yes, so Catherine, I have a Nest My Health. That's fantastic. So the Nest My Health is programmed to work with the scan. It's a handheld professional PEMF device like the Holos. And it's very powerful. It's very strong. And it allows you to not only work on those ER screens that we saw, the energetic rejuvenation screen, it actually maps out exactly what programs you use and where you use them. But then if you have symptoms that are pretty significant, if you've got back pain, if you've got knee pain, shoulder pain, I can set up folders for you on your My Health. From the scan, I can create a folder that says knees, shoulders, spine, whatever it is that's going on, stress, sleep. And I can create programs in those for you to run on your My Health alongside the scanned, mapped programs. So the My Health is very powerful. I've done years of training on it. It was the system that brought me forward and gave me the opportunity to create RedHealth, my knowledge of this. And the My Health is a fantastic device. I use it on my animals. My 94-year-old parents use it. I create folders for them to make it simple. So it's a very simple but powerful system. And you don't have to understand all these concepts by any stretch of the imagination. It's really just about feeling a trust with the system, that you resonate with it and that you trust me. That's really all that matters, because everything is really mapped out for you. That's the power of a bioenergetic scan. Can this help somebody who's pretty far along with the disease process, e.g. Alzheimer's? Um, I can't I can't obviously make a medical claim. The body is always able to heal. Um, and so, yes, I would say that absolutely it could help someone with Alzheimer's. You have to be very careful with people who have anything going on with the nervous system that's serious. You have to go very gentle. I've worked with many cancer patients. I've worked with neurological Parkinson's. Um, yes, they can absolutely make changes and make corrections. It will take longer for someone who has a deeper seated chronic illness, but the body is so amazing at it's constantly trying to detox and it's constantly trying to heal. Yes, good question. I missed most of the Zoom. Will there be a replay or another Zoom? So I haven't decided what I'm going to do in follow up yet. It was based on my feedback from tonight. But it will be recorded. It will be sent out to all registrants, and it will also eventually be up on the website, on the Red Health Wear website. So you can go here to ask me any questions. You can call or text this line. You can email me, or you can go to the Red Health live chat help desk. There's a little pop-up widget that comes up when you go to the website on each page in the bottom right-hand corner of redhealthwear.com. I'm always on the desk 9 to 3, Monday through Friday, helping people. Many times offering the scan, which I'm so excited to show you tonight, as well as Holos as a foundation, automatic, easy to use, 24/7 PEMF wearable. So I've got people using Holos, also scanning. It just depends on where you want to, how far you want to go in getting, powering up your energy system and your health. Well, I feel like I tried to cover a lot of information in a short period of time. I was just trying to do an intro, but just remember that the system actually is able to very clearly map out in quite a bit of detail energy distortions, how severe they are, what priority they need to be addressed. And then you get the top 3 to 6 recommendations automatically. And of course, if you have a My Health or you would choose to purchase one, you can go in and work on those local energy blockages as well, very simply using the map from the scan that you'll have. You can see your scan afterwards, you can go through it and become really amazed at what the system tells you is going on. I was actually kind of a little bit shocked today that I've got some significant small intestine issues and that I'm very stressed. I didn't feel that stressed, but it's interesting, what actually shows as my highest priorities. Um, so I'm going to make some of those corrections, start working on some of those corrections this week. Any other questions? I'm so excited you guys were here, and I know I have a lot of people that are going to be watching this in follow-up, and I'm here. I have a 15-minute free consult. You can call me, text me, email me, and we can talk about what your goals are, what's going on, and any questions that you have on the system and doing starting to do some bioenergetic scanning with me and some corrections. I'm here and available to you, so reach out anytime in any of these 3 methods, and I can give you some options for a consult and give you a free 15, sometimes it goes into 30-minute consult, and partner with you in helping you get your health powered up. Any other questions that is coming up? Looking here. You're very, very welcome. Yes, it's fascinating. Um, it's fascinating. And I am so passionate about sharing this with you and teaching you more because it's really one of the most powerful insights into actually what's going on at the highest level in your mind and body. Yes, it's truly amazing technology. It really is. And Dr. Peter Fraser, Harry Massey helped put it into the software, but Dr. Peter Fraser, the book, if you want to look, if you want to read about this more, it's called Decoding the Human Body Field. It's on Amazon. And that was written by Harry Massey, the visionary entrepreneur that helped put this into a software system, and Dr. Peter Fraser, who did all the years of research of mapping the human body field. He wrote a book. It's a fairly complex read, but it's called Energy and Information in Nature. That's Peter's book that followed the book Decoding the Human Body Field. You're very welcome, Grace. Thank you for being here. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. If you have follow-up questions or you want to dive a little deeper, just let me know. This was an introduction, and I'm excited to get some feedback. Can you repeat the Fraser book title? Sure. So the Fraser book, Dr. Peter Fraser's book, is called Energy and Information in Nature. The introduction to NES and the research behind NES is called Decoding the Human Body Field. So it's now called Energy for Life, not NES Health. They've rebranded and changed names, so I'm using both names, not to be confusing. You're welcome, Diane. And if anybody wants a follow-up or they want a separate, another scan review or have ideas on diving a little deeper here, please give me some feedback. Either email me, call me, or just connect with me on the RedHealth support desk. Another minute here till about 7:15 for any other questions, feedback, anything that's on your mind. And then we'll go ahead and close for this session. Well, it looks like at the moment, I don't have any more feedback or questions, but I'm going to stay open. I'll be here for about an hour. If you want to connect with me, if you want to sign up for a free consult, what are the infoceutical remedies? Great question. So the infoceutical remedies are liquid corrective remedies. They are holographic or fractal in nature, and they each contain corrective energy and information for the specific aspects of the different elements on the scan. So for example, when you saw BFA, if I took the BFA infoceutical, it would correct my heart's alignment to the earth. It would correct the highest level of my immune system. It would correct the nervous system at the highest level and the metabolic system, including the large intestine. So each infoceutical is mapped out by the scan and has very specific corrections in it, but they're holographic. The doses are fractal. So you take either 1 drop, 3, 6, 9, 15, or 28. You take one of those dosage that I give you, depending on if you're highly sensitive or you're stronger. And 28 drops being a full fractal, if you're familiar with fractals. So they are holographic energy and information corrections in water, basically with Himalayan salt as a preservative. I've got some more slides here that I didn't really have. Let's see if I have any. No, I didn't. I don't have the infoceutical covered yet. I have those in other slides. I was going to do a follow-up and dive a little bit more into, having somebody run a scan and then going through it with them and looking at the protocol. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, I can do another webinar and dive into a client scan. Yes, so great question. I order the pharmaceuticals. This is something I can talk to you about in a consult as well. Just call me or text me. I order them and they're drop shipped to your house. So they are drop shipped from Energy for Life, based on what I order, based on your scan. Super, Patricia. I'm super excited to just sign up and begin this process. So Patricia, I will reach out to you. I think I've got your information. Most of you guys are either customers or subscribers of mine on Red Health. So I will look at your information. If you don't hear from me, you should, but I'll reach out to you by email, or you can give me a call after this is over if you want to at the number here, and we can talk for a few minutes. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly on this line here anytime. I'm here 5 days a week, and the lines are open Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 Mountain Time. So I'm excited to work with you, and I will reach out to you, Patricia. You're welcome. This is just the beginning. This was an intro, so I hope you enjoyed it. And I will be doing follow-up on the pharmaceuticals, the My Health particularly, if people are interested in using it at all. But I really think it'd be fun to do a scan, a sample scan, somebody sign up for a scan, or a couple people, and go through a couple scans together. I think that'd be fun. It's something I love to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and if you guys are, let's see if I've got any other questions here. I don't want to hold you too long. Please don't be shy. If you have any questions, I am more than happy to answer them. It's a lot of information. Okay, guys, well, I'm going to say good night. And anyone who's watching after the recording, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you and connect and see how I can help you, even if it's just that you have questions. Okay, thank you so much. Loved being with you guys, and look forward to a lot of feedback.